Hey, what's up, y'all? Y'all are tuned in to the R611 Podcast. I'm Andre Jamal.
I am Mikhail.
I am Neil T.
It's your boy Big Yay.
I'm A Smooth.
And we're all members of Flatline Movement. We were going to talk about a specific topic today that we think is just something to think about. And that is defining success. I remember being young doing music, and I'll never forget, I was with this group, and we just knew we were going to blow up and sell platinum, amount of albums and get Grammys and just all the stuff that the world provides an artist. And I remember being at a concert, and I seen this guy. He was an older guy. He wore like full suits. His name was King James. And King James would do songs about eating your vegetables. And he had a song about how Pokemon was of the devil. And honestly, when we first seen him, because we 17, 16, 17 in that area, when we first seen him, we clowned him. We was laughing. Look at him in his suit. You know what I'm saying? Look at he got a vest on and just all that. We just clowned. And then the second show came up, and we noticed that after maybe about a good 5-6 shows, everywhere we was, he was. And we started noticing, like, man, people in the audience is really feeling this dude. And he was definitely ministerial. And our first perception of what we thought was automatically old whack. Kind of showed us that, man, no, this dude really is saying something, and he's got an audience of people that are like looking forward to hearing what he had to say. And although he was doing songs about eating your vegetables and Pokemon, he had an audience, and he definitely had a following. So when y'all think of success, like what would you, and when you first got into doing music, what would you define at that time? What did you define success as, being an artist coming into this?
Are you referring to CHH or just when we first
Just
started
saying, when
doing
you
music?
first started
period?
doing music, period.
I mean, for me as a secular artist, man, it was all about status and popularity. Maybe getting a record deal, getting a whole bunch of money, being able to do what you see other rappers do, what you see mainstream artists do, being mainstream. So that's what I define success as a secular artist. But now as a Christian artist, is more about glorifying God and like, who am I impacting with the message that I'm presenting? You know what I'm saying? It's not about me achieving anything or being a certain way or having a certain status. Even though first starting out in Christian hip hop, it still kind of was interwoven in that, but just feel like over this past year, the Lord changing and sanctifying my heart, man. It's bigger than that. It's bigger than me. It's about spreading the message of the gospel and really impacting people. So I feel like as a Christian artist, that's real success, like being impactful with the music that you're making.
I agree. But I also, like, for me, what I'm thinking of would be a successful, because I just started. So, like, what I would want out of this is exactly what Neil was saying, to impact people. But I also would like people to, check on the music, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like once people are like, yo, this person is good, let me check up on what they doing when they drop. I want to listen. Like, that's what I feel like is success. Like, building a following of people and, going out. Because that's very social media right now. Like, when you do a video, you get likes. Like, just stuff like that. People checking in on you and really being able to make a community and an impact with your music.
So in layman's term, more so like a household name. Like, man, this person dropped. Oh, whatever. This person dropped. Oh, whatever. Oh, Dylan got an album? Bet. When it come out next Friday? Bet. Like,
kind of, but not like a household name. Like, I don't really like, not to use the word cult, but like a cult following of people.
Right.
Like a small group is even like cool with me. Just like a small group of people that check for you. Because like most artists that I like are not mainstream. they have like these little fan bases that would like ride for them. So that's what I feel like a successful career would be.
And I think having impact, that comes automatically, like the following and all that stuff, along with impact.
Okay, I got you. Okay, so how about you, Smooth? Like when you first started, like first started rapping, what was your desire, and what would you have viewed success as?
When I first started rapping, I was like 10 years old. I think I just wanted to be like some of the rappers I saw on the videos and just look cool. That was it. Wasn't really a whole lot. I mean, I had been into music before that. I'm gonna be the weird one, but I used to like Phil Collins when I was little. I used to, cause MTV, they didn't play when I was young. I'm dating myself. When I was young, they didn't play a lot of rappers on MTV. You would see mostly like rock music. So I used to see Phil Collins like on stage and whatnot, and I'd see him playing the drums and see the crowd and all that. I used to want that. I didn't even think about money or anything like that. It was just, I just wanted that I don't know, it seemed almost magical. I wanted to be a part of something like that. But then once I got into Christian rap, I think it just became more of a thing of just like, I remember my homeboy Lenny Mays, he had this song called One. And one of the verses in the song, each verse he talks about something different, how he's only trying to please one, or he's only trying to save one, or he's only trying to reach one. And that song, that, I mean, he never released it, but I had like my own little bootleg copy of it. But it always has been like my, almost like a theme song for me, like just reaching that one person, just knowing somebody got saved, somebody came to Christ, or that somebody ended up being motivated in their walk with Christ. It sounds real generic and corny, but for real, that's success to me. Like if we did like a concert, or even if we were just doing like a small thing with just a few people, and if the Holy Spirit just really started coming down on folks and people crying and praying and giving their lives to the Lord, I think that's successful, even if it's just one person. So that's what it is for me.
No, that's fine though. That's I remember when I was young, like my view of success was just getting signed. Like, man, if I get signed, that means somebody like really thought what I was doing was great. And I remember when I ended up getting signed in like 2000, and there it is, this distribution behind me, all of this stuff. I'm just thinking everything's so great. And I'll never forget. I went and I re-recorded. Like I always had a studio at the house, right? So this record company heard my independent release and said that they wanted to re-release it. As far as it's like regional, it was all over the United States, but it was through the Christian bookstore Lifeway. So I remember they said you got to go back to the studio and re-record. And I went back to the studio. Now, the only thing was with this particular label, it was called Betty Rocket was the name of the label. They were a big punk rock, ska. They did all that kind of Christian music. So they were like real successful in that area. So they wanted to start doing a rap label. So they had a rap label, they call it BRX2. And they signed this one guy named Big Unk out of that's on the West Coast. They signed this lady named L Rock. She's from Atlanta. I think she changed her name now. And then they signed me. So I'm thinking, oh man, it's about to, So I get articles in the Christian paper and magazines. I'm just like, okay. So I went to go and re-record my album. Didn't know. I went and re-recorded it with a rock producer, a rock engineer. Now, for anybody that ever listens to rock,
right,
the way they mix rock and the way they mix rap is two completely different things.
Yeah.
So I'm in there. I'm thinking I'm big time. Like I finally made it to the studio. I'm in here. They didn't book the engineers for me. It's just for me. Like So I'm listening. So I, we record all of the songs. I'm hearing it coming out of the monitors. It sound good. I get into the car. Hi-hats is on the left side. The kick is on the right side. It's like everything was just split up where it was just like, where if you turn down, back in the day we used to have like the equalizer on. So if you turn down one side, you couldn't even hear half the beat. I was hot. Like I was so mad. And so I called the guy named Philip. He was one over BRX2. I said, man, I gotta go back in and re-record this. He said, no, we got a quote, we got a date. It needs that we had a release date. It had already went off for pressing. I'm like, I'm beside myself. Like, when people gonna hear this, it's gonna be trash. Like, I'm just thinking all of this stuff. And I'll never forget, an advanced copy went out. And then back in these days, it didn't have no social media really. It was just, emails, stuff like that, right? You get email. I got an email from somebody that had heard an advanced copy. And the last song on the very first album I did it was called Outro, and it was like The Past Don't Matter. That was the name of the song. And it talked about how the past don't matter, it don't mean a thing, it doesn't matter in the eyes of the king. Like God, it's all been washed. And it was a young lady, and she sent something. She said, I got a chance to get a hold of your album, and I really enjoyed it. And she said, but the last song touched me like I was gonna kill myself. And she said, but I heard that song, and it told me that I'm not defined by my past, and it doesn't matter, and that it's covered in the blood. I swear, after that, that's why when you said what you said in reference to like that one, no, it don't sound cheesy or generic or whatever. It's like, I was like, okay, why am I tripping? You know what I'm saying? That young girl wasn't tripping off of, is that mix right? Or, man, that mix was off or whatever. That girl was listening for something specific. The Lord spoke through the music, and it caused for her, to continue living. And that's when I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm not going to trip anymore off of it, because it's not about, all of the other stuff is important. I'm not stating that you should just go and just put out terrible music, but, it's only give it too much weight. You know what I'm saying? It should, if you feel like the Lord had really told you something, and then you're able to say it in a way that the Lord gave it to you, then that should be enough. But yeah, I hear what you're saying in reference to success being reaching people. If you can have a great album and not reach anybody.
That's true.
So what about you, Ye? When you first started, what was your expectation, and what did you think success was?
When I first started rapping, I would say I was more so mentally infatuated with Reach Records. And so my idea of success was doing a winter jam with Andy Mineo, doing an album with Triple E, doing a single with KB. You know what I'm saying? Like that was my idea at the time of like, I will feel successful when I'm on a level of these guys where I can be in the same room as them and or assigned to Reach Records and doing music with these amazing artists, because these are who I was hearing growing up in CHH. Like this is what I was hearing. This is who Kevin King introduced me to. Shout out Kevin King. But those are the people I was hearing, and so that my idea of success at the time was stadium, 1,000 to 3,000 church people in the stadiums, knowing my lyrics, singing my song, screaming. We're all having a good time in the Lord. Like it was all still rooted. Like I want to do it all for God, but I want to do it big for God. And so yeah, that was my idea of success. However, I think I turned my mic off. Now, I would say my idea of success is more along the lines of impact too. And the thing that it just came full circle for me. As an example, though, my one of my favorite visual creators passed away. The guy who created Dragon Ball Z. Akira Toriyama. He passed away, and the entire world practically froze. The entire world of art, I'm gonna say that, froze. And anime and manga and video games, all those, all that portion of the world froze. Kind of like when Kobe passed away and half the world froze over, like, oh gosh, we just lost Kobe. It was like that for anime, video games, and art. It was like that for them, where everybody was like, oh my gosh, he passed away. And I'm not even gonna sit up here and lie to y'all. I don't even know this man. I've never met this man in my life, but I cried almost on the same level as me losing my great grandma a couple months ago. It was not quite. I was balling for my grandma, but for him I was crying because I was like, man, if those who know, my last album, which was 5 years ago, was called Young Gohan. That character was written, created, and produced by Akira Toriyama, who passed away. Without him, I wouldn't even have the inspiration that I have or had even to create some of those songs and the ideas that I had when I was starting music and all those things. It was based on Dragon Ball Z and anime and all of that stuff and video games. Half of my favorite video games were Dragon Ball Z. But sidetracking here, the reason I bring him up is because his impact hit so many people in their stomach. Even hip hop, there were Instagram videos of people chopping up their favorite lines of rappers using Dragon Ball Z as an idea in a line, or going Super Saiyan. And I was like, bro, he put his hands on so many people through his art, through his artwork, through his passion. Mm-hmm. That's what I want to do, but for Christ in my music. I want to when I say I'm retiring, or when I pass away, Lord forbid anytime soon, but when that happens, I want people to be like, bro, dang, like not just the people I know, obviously, but the people who listen to the music and actually felt the Lord's presence and felt helped by my music. I want them to be like, man, like he did what he was supposed to do. Like the impact.
You want people to cry for you?
I don't. You don't have to cry. If you cry, that's on you. You don't have to cry. If you whatever you want to cry, that's fine. But you don't have to cry. But I would love for people to at least say, Ye did what God sent him to do through his music, and it helped people. And I've also had emails. Well, in my time it was like Facebook messages, but people messaging me and just be like, "Man, that last album was really good." And that last album, and I'm over here saying like, "Man, I could have done better here. I could have done better here. I could have did that beat a little different." And they're just like, "Bro, that song that you did was fire." And I'm just like, thank you. Like I thank you for you were helping, bro. Even the last relationship song I did, what guy called me and was like, man, I was in the same situation. I did the same situation, man. But thank you for like putting that in your album and putting that out, because I needed to hear that there was joy in the morning, like all that. It was like, wow, okay. So even that stuff, people need to hear this stuff, and so yeah, I would say now it would be absolutely impact.
So it sounds like we're not gauging success by by what the world would say,
clothes, chains,
money,
cars,
women,
girls.
Like let's really talk about just okay. If you sold 1 million copies today, I came from the era where I was pressing up my own CDs, putting the little cover over the top, and selling like a single, which was like 2 songs for like $5. If I sold the way that it was back in the day with the trunk, selling stuff out the trunk, then if I sold 1 million of those, then I got $5 million, right? Mm-hmm. All right. So if we take into consideration, you get 1 million streams.
You got 1 million pennies. $12. You get 1 million pennies.
I like what was that? That 1 million streams is like.
I'm sick. Apple Music, I believe it's really 1 million pennies. A stream is 1 penny. I'm pretty sure. If I could be wrong, I could be like half a penny or something.
I'm about to say it's probably a little bit less.
It's something like something. It's like right at a penny.
I heard it was like 0.7 or something crazy.
Something like that.
For Spotify, it's like 0. Something. Like it's for Spotify, it's less. But for Apple Music, it was a little.
Oh, okay. So if you
I think it's still less than a penny though, even for Apple Music. But it's like Apple Music, you get paid a little. Just ever so slightly more. If you can call that more. It's like 0.5 more than. It's not even a full penny. Full penny. Like I can't even pay you because you didn't make enough. If you got one play, I can't even pay you because you didn't make enough. Anyway, continue. I'm sorry.
No. I mean, I think that's something that we have to kind of take into consideration. It's like the industry doesn't really.
Well,
you said what? Well, what does Google say?
$7,000 to $10,000.
$7,000 to $10,000.
Let's count.
Can you know somebody that got over 1 million streams?
They ain't got no $7 to $10 million. I can say it right now. But this is why we can break it down. We can break it down.
Okay.
We can break it down because first of all, per song you have a 100/100 sheet. I forget what the actual thing is called, but on one side you have publishing and one side you have writing. You got 100 a split sheet. Yeah, there it is. If you got 100, if you have 100% for the writing, you have the producer, which is half the time taking 50% most of the time. That's like generous, and I think it's like 35 is like the minimum half the time if they know what they're doing. But you have like they're taking half for just producing the track, and then the other half is split between whoever's on the song. Then you got the publishing, which can be given to the artists if they own their masters and all that stuff. But most of the time, the publishing is split between the people who are distributing and or the label / of the song. And so they might make 10,000 for a million stream, or what is it, 10,000? You say 10,000? 7 to per stream, a penny per stream. Yeah, there's probably a lot more to it that we just don't.
You should times 0.7 times 1,000 and see what comes up.
It's like 0.07, not 0.007, 0.07.
Yeah.
But regardless, my idea, my thought process behind this is that like, so we're in the ballpark then. That makes sense. But still, think of one artist making a million streams off Spotify for 0.07 cents on the stream. He only sees 2,000, if that. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about it. Like, because the rest of it is going to whoever produced the track, the label, the industry itself. Like, all of that's going to them. They don't see that full $7,000. Especially if they don't own their own masters and all that stuff. They don't see all that.
He probably getting
he probably getting 1,000. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not seeing 7,000. He's not. It's just not. That's not how it is. And I think personally that was set up because the industry wanted that. They're like, oh, they're making too much money on their own. We want that.
You weren't really around during this period of time.
But anyway, let's go. We'll go ahead.
You weren't here during this time, but I know that Smooth and I know Neil remember. You remember LimeWire?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And what was the other one? Napster. Yeah. Right. LimeWire is the one that I was using.
We were just talking about that the other day at the forum, man.
Man, yeah. LimeWire was the one I was using. I remember burning just all kind of stuff on there once I found out. And I remember looking and saying, you know what? I said, I bet you the record company gonna get us for this. Right? Because then they were saying that they were going to be arresting people and stuff.
Yeah, they had commercials like, you're stealing if you burn a CD.
But you know what? They did? This is what they did, though. Because I remember going to, like, again, dating myself, but some of y'all going to remember going to the Sam Goodies and the warehouses and all of them ones in order to get, that album that was going to drop on a Tuesday, right? But then sometimes the way they would get you is they will sell you the single be fire. But the album be trash, and they be like, "Oh, y'all got me. Okay, all right." So that LimeWire, when that opened up, it was like, "Oh, we could just take all of the good songs. Mm-hmm. We don't have to be concerned about the terrible, the whack songs." But I was like, "I know they're gonna get us back," and this is how the streaming is how they got us back, because individuals ain't getting no money.
No.
And they even got their hands in the pockets of people that is releasing independent stuff.
And that's what I was gonna say. Like it's so easy to blow. It's so easy to blow up and get 1 million streams now with TikTok, Instagram, just like promotional stuff that you can do. And as an independent artist, they take it from that too. Like there's artists that have one song with 1 million streams and they're like, "Oh, I made it," but you didn't see that much.
You didn't see that money from that.
You're independent, but they still in your pockets, which I'm like, y'all slick crazy for that. But
there's even go Go ahead.
No, I mean there are artists that are trying their best to like defy those odds. I mean, I can't say that it's really been working. I mean, I remember there was one artist. I can say it is the homie Brinson. I can see he tried. He really did try, and I don't know if like he said that there was something wrong with DistroKid.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, come on, man, like there's something wrong with DistroKid. He's like, no, y'all could get it from my website. And I was like, there's something wrong with DistroKid, really? Like,
No, but they starting to do that
for a little while. It wasn't before. I don't know if it worked. It might have worked on a small scale, but
Kanye is doing that a lot now. Like I think he dropped Vultures 2 on his website, which is, I don't know, it's going directly to them. Like artists like Yeet have done it. I'm not paying for none of that.
How
Like,
you set that up?
you go on your website and it's like you purchase the link to, you purchase like the WAV files.
Yeah, you purchased the files to it, which D1 did it, and I think that is my personal opinion, that is the best way to do it if you have that following already. Yeah, that is a death sentence to anybody who doesn't have a following.
True.
To somebody who does not have the following, or if you're not making 1 million streams on Spotify right now, that is a death sentence. It's a death sentence because these are people who you would have to introduce yourself to them. You giving them all of this stuff, and then like, okay, that's interesting. Where can I find this? You go on my website. You put in your information. They be like, nah, I ain't doing all that. I'm not doing all that.
Yeah.
But if I can go to Spotify real quick and just type your name in and then save you and then go listen to your stuff when I feel like it, it's that's different. But when you have what Dylan was talking about earlier, a cult following, people who love you already, they're like, oh, bet. Kanye, for instance, bro. It's Kanye. I'm about to go get him this $25 so I can have all these songs on my phone.
My little brother was trying to get me to split the money.
It's that type of deal.
No, like Nipsey Hussle did it too. Right. He sold his album for $100, and that so
in that situation, it's like skip all the middlemen, pay me directly for what you because you love me. You obviously love me, so you know what I'm saying. And so, I'm not paying $100. That's crazy, but it was Nipsey. Like.
Wu-Tang, the dude paid $1 million for their unreleased album. They only made one copy, and somebody spent $1 million for that one copy of his unreleased album. That is what you consider
a cult following. That's what you consider a cult. Now that might be a literal cult, but cult following. But the idea is that that people are trying to branch off from it, and Kanye's doing it. But I feel like if you don't have the name to do it, it ain't gonna work for you because you just. You get the same 7 people on your Patreon paying for you.
I'm telling you, like,
when your mom
from somebody who only have one person on his Patreon. So I'm just saying.
But look,
I'm just saying.
This is crazy though. The crazy thing is that whether all the streaming sites, YouTube, it's like everybody's pushing you to all of these vehicles. So like, even if it's almost like being signed. Because if you choose to do anything different, then ain't nobody going to pay attention to you.
Which is why I think other people started branching off and doing other stuff. Like you get what you get from music, but then you're like, but I also make content on YouTube, but I also do this on the side. I also do this. I sell. This is why merch became the like number one money maker for artists after the years, because it was like if you didn't sign, if your contract had nothing to do with necessarily how much they make out of your merch, if it was like, oh, we want this much out of your music, but we only take like 3% or something out of how much your merch sales is, you were like spamming your merch everywhere. Like you were like, bro, 116 this or any mini of that, or you was like, this, come get this hat off this, because then you were upcharging. You were like $50 for a hoodie, nah, 75. Like that's what you.
We kind of, because
that's where you needed to make your money. That's where you needed to make your money. That's where you needed to make your money, because that was where your money was coming from. Especially when like now you got BMI and all of those places who are paying royalties on stuff. You get royalties and stuff, and it comes 3 months. It comes, what is it, like a 3 to 6 months after it's already been revenued into BMI. You get it like 3 months after, and so like the month you're supposed to get it is 3 months late.
So that means you have to have the capital to be able to.
Yeah. It's crazy.
For me, it seemed like, I don't know what it's like now, but I know when I first started doing Christian rap, it seemed like the artists that were making a lot of money, it wasn't off of their sales, CD sales and whatnot. It was off of doing shows. You get paid $2,000 here, $2,000 here, $2,000 there. End up making like $6,000 in 1 month. That don't sound like a whole lot, but for for an artist, but yeah, plus merch. So these guys are making between $6,000 to $8,000 a month for the whole year. So they making a lot of money, but it's all off of just running around to different countries and states and whatnot, church to church, doing a lot of these youth group programs and whatnot. So I think that's how a lot, and I think that I don't know if that's how they still make a lot of their money, but
you see a lot of flyers.
And then once they've been gypped by the music industry, Uncle Sam come in like, hey, I need my taxes. It's done deal. It's like because you're still paying taxes on that money. That is still taxable income, and it's crazy. It's crazy.
I mean, it's at a point right now, and I think that, that's really another topic that we could talk about, at a later date. But the fact that nobody's really making any money, if you notice, new artists are not being really, broke that much. Nobody's really coming out. It used to be a time where people would have, like, if you were a successful known artist, you would be breaking a new artist. You know what I'm saying? That kind of almost not necessarily like take your place, but either really continue that line. It could either be the continuing line or even income. You know what I'm saying? That would come. But if you think about it, and I don't be liking to say much about Lecrae. Just for the sake of it be seeming like I be hating, and it's not that I be hating. It's just like I feel like he had an enormous opportunity to really catapult CHH, and he bartered it for his own personal success with a major, and I just feel like it just didn't work out. It didn't work. He should have stuck to his guns, stayed as that house on the hill, and not try to become successful from a worldly standpoint. But that's just me. But I think that if he would have put his focus on finding that next one and really focusing and breaking that one, and then instead of trying to stay in the limelight, took a step back and still release projects, but release it to his niche, whatever his niche audience was, not only would it have catapulted another person, but then it would have continued. Because, you know how the industry is. This is secular as well as Christian, sadly. But we know the Christian's gonna follow the secular, which that song "Take That" is not going. That didn't age well. Was that by Swoop? It was the same team.
Same team, yeah.
They was talking about they getting co-signed by Diddy.
Swoop.
It
didn't age well. Swoop was I think the catalyst. For
you didn't even know nothing about this song. I just threw that out.
I'm gonna take that.
Yeah, you didn't know.
Which he had a bunch of newer artists on the song.
But he was trying to break it. He was trying to break. But of course that because he was saying I'm co-signed by Diddy and take that.
That was Diddy is the whole take that.
It didn't age well.
But it didn't age well.
It didn't age well.
But it was from the idea of the musical Diddy back in the day with take that. But it just didn't age well because he was pulling from Diddy. It was just like, okay, no.
Like if he would have, then it would have set a precedent because we copy. You know what I'm saying? Like we copy success. So secular's been doing it forever. When Jay-Z came out with all of those, the strip club song, the girl song, when everybody followed suit. I think it was the same way with Lecrae. Like everybody was looking at him because he was the most successful, and then everybody kind of followed suit. And I think that by following it, I think it kind of killed it a little bit.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. I 100% agree that when everybody started trying to be Lecrae, that's when Christian hip hop was just like, all right, well, I guess we're just trying to be the world now. It's like it did not feel like Christian hip hop anymore. Mm-hmm. And then you got your audiences who I feel like, or your rappers who have their own audiences that followed their own lane. While like I respect Lecrae, but I'm not going to one for one copy his route. I'm going to try to do my own thing. And they were what kind of kept CHH from sinking. I feel like that they're the ones who kept CHH from sinking. And look, we use CHH a lot. I feel like now people in CHH are tired of the title CHH. They're just like, bro, it's dead. Like, let's stop using it. I 100% disagree because I feel like I still make CHH music. But anyway, beside the point, it has died in a sense of it is no longer what it used to be when it was all about making music that glorifies Christ. I believe that there are so many people who tried to tiptoe along the lines of, let me make music that is world reaching. Like, it's still Christian music, but I can make it in a way that I can reach the world. I can, peer over the fence, reaching my hand down, like, come on, pull them on over here. That type of mindset. And the problem with that is that you can't do that when you're 2 years behind the mark, when you're 3 years behind the mark. Like, you can't do that. You tried to jump on the drill wave 3 years after drill was already hype, and now you're catching the tail end of it, and now it's dying because we're too behind to be able to do that. And so, regardless,
do you think that is because we're behind? Because I'm only speaking from a sinner's vantage point, right? Because for 6 years I was working with inner city kids over in Washington Park, right? When Lecrae's Blessings initially came out, yeah, Ty Dolla $ign on it, right? And I mean, like, literally, we would be driving to wherever the destination was for the day, and when Blessings would come on, they would click the thing immediately, and it was like they didn't even know who Lecrae was. They would click it immediately, and I'd be like, well, what's up? Like, no, that's trash. Like, why? Y'all don't even know what it was. Have you even listened to it? So there was times that I played it all the way through, but then they were just like, like, they didn't look at it as, wow, there's Ty Dolla $igns on it.
Cause I'm sorry, you getting Ty Dolla $ign, you getting E40, you getting all these.
So that's what I was about to say.
Music.
I was about to say. First of all, if it was Lecrae and Drake, it'd be a different conversation.
For sure.
It'd be 100% a different conversation. You put Ty Dolla $ign on a track after Ty Dolla $ign wasn't even Ty Dolla $ign. Ty Dolla $ign blew up, went down, got on the Lecrae track. That's what it wasn't that Ty Dolla $ign was up here and then Lecrae was like, hey, yo.
Bro got YK Osiris on the song.
And then went down and then Lecrae, like, Ty came down to be on the Lecrae song. He didn't go up and then, hey, Lecrae matched him somehow and got, it was, and I'm no disrespect for Craig, because I actually like the song. I love the song I did get tired of hearing it, just like I got tired of hearing him and Tori Kelly. But I love the two songs. I was tired of hearing them. But I will say, Tori Kelly's song did way more for him than the Ty Dolla $ign song. And it was, personally, I believe it was because it was still kind of in his lane, because Tori Kelly is known as a devout Christian. She just makes music however she wants to make it, but she's known as a devout Christian. So I think him staying where God put him was better for him than him trying to go out there. It's like it just didn't work out the way he thought it would. But again, if it was, like I said, it was Drake
or Kendrick
Lamar, who he kept on trying to name drop. He kept trying to.
I don't know you.
He came out. Look. He did come out on Church Close 4 and was like, I was trying to be cool and say all Kendrick's name, and he said that he did it, and he apologized to Christian hip hop for doing it, because it was like it didn't work. He was like, I'm cool. I know Kendrick. Like, you know what I'm saying? If it worked, he would have been like, it worked. But but because it didn't, he was like, I just look stupid now. It didn't work. You know what I'm saying? So
what was he expecting to work? Like,
and whatever. Let's not make this let's hate Lecrae, because I love Lecrae. So I'm not even gonna sit up here. But we can easily see what worked and what didn't work. We can easily say what worked and what didn't work. It's not that I don't want to be blackballed. I could care less about being signed to Reach or being on Reach. Because what I will say is true talent will come out when it comes out. You know what I'm saying? So
Reach is hitting you up tomorrow saying that they're ready to sign you now. What you doing?
That's fire, but they gonna have to. There's a couple things we're gonna have to change if they want to be on that label. I'm sorry, it's too much. It's too much BS behind Reach right now. It's too much. I'm sorry. It's too much. There's a lot. There's a lot
of dirt on them.
There's a lot, bro. There's a lot. That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't say no, but I would look at that contract and be like, all right, some things gonna have to change. Now, I mean, obviously, I wouldn't get signed because they're gonna be like, how you gonna come in and try to change us? We trying to help you. It's like, yeah, so it ain't gonna work like that. But I would try. I would try.
There's some stuff need to change around here. Like, who are you?
Exactly. They look at me like, bro, if you don't get your
Man,
Hey man, boy, if you don't get
take that down over there.
boy, if you don't get your no, but I mean, you know, whatever. Regardless, I do think that there were some things that Craig did wrong. He's even admitted it's like I did some things wrong. There's some things that Craig did wrong.
Been to a couple Diddy parties.
Hey, leave that where it was.
All right, we gonna you know what?
Let that go.
We gonna end right now.
I'm sorry. I just gotta. I want to say this. I do want to say this. Ain't no, you wouldn't have been able to torture me to get that information.
That's what I'm saying. I would have took that to the grave. He was like, you know what? I admit.
Jesus Christ.
I've been to a couple. Why are you interjecting yourself in this?
No, I wouldn't have.
Why are you getting yourself in this, bro?
Like, we already got TD out here doing the most. We don't need the Christian hip hop guru to be out here on the front page. He also been
doing what they were doing,
bro,
and just kept on going upstairs.
First of all, had I did go in the first warning, he was like, "You don't want to be here out there," but I don't like bet.
He's like, "Nah, I got it.
No, I'm good. No, bro. No, I'm good." You said I don't need to be here then. I ain't gonna be here now. I'm out. Like, we go. Like, heck no. I'm go, bro. No, I'm sorry. Anyway, we can wrap it up, bro.
We can wrap. No, cause look, we definitely don't need to be ever going to a Diddy party because Diddy will be like, no, not him, this one right here.
That's it. Wrap it up. Time to go.
I like them tall.
Man, get on, man. Boy, y'all's